The media is a powerful tool, a tool that can have positive and negative effects on a particular individual. Humans live in a modern world. The media, day in and day out, surrounds us. Sometimes the media can be television shows, radio, news, ads, websites, social networking sites, text messages, the internet, video games, and film. Each of these contributes to the media as a general picture. Each item brings something new and different to the table. What does one think of when you say the word media? Well, to me, it's a collection of things that are always being pushed towards someone in a particular direction or another. For instance, with a television show, it will show you what clothes to wear or not to wear, how to feel about a certain hip new boy band, or to get a person to buy a particular product from a certain place. Everyone is affected by the massive machine we call media in one form or another. For myself, it is from the Apple Store. I would say they have good products, but I also buy anything they have. Children at a young age can be influenced by just about anything if they're exposed to it for an extended period of time. According to the American Psychology Association, the media can have some effects on kids. While kids are growing up, they pick up on certain ways of thinking. For instance, young girls may think that it's okay to be a skinny model and want to act like them because it is the popular thing to do. For boys, it would be a little more. For boys, it would be things like violent video games. Boys are drawn to the core aspects of violence because it is violent. It depends on two main ideals: the exposure to the media and the extent of the exposure. These psychologists have four core problems that may lead a child into a non-pleasant direction. These four problems are sex, drugs, obesity, and or other eating problems. Parents these days would not like to have their kids to have these kinds of problems. No one is saying that an hour of television will do this to your kid, but it does depend on the hour of television. We are still being, while still being on the topic of children and the media, let us think about what can come of it. If a 5-year-old, for example, spends 5 hours a day in front of a television because his or her parents are at work, the media is really going to have an impact on that child's life. 5 hours a day, 7 days a week, is 35 hours a week. That rounds up to 1,820 hours a year. That is a very large amount of television for one particular child to be watching within a single year. Lisa Dunning, a family therapist, says that the quality of time spent with a child has an influence on them, even if the parent does not see that influence. The more active a parent is willing to be with their child, the less the media will have on that particular child. An example of this would be if Sally watches some TV during the day, but when her mother is home, they spend time talking and doing family-oriented things. A parent's involvement has more of an impact on a child's life than any amount of media. While we grow up with exposure to the media, once we enter becoming a teenager, it hits us the most. Kind of like being hit with a bucket of water when you're just about to wake up. Teens, unlike kids, are easier to influence because of peers and social acceptance. If my friends are doing this, why shouldn't I? Researchers at the University of Northern Carolina have found key ideals that may have yeah, that may have the media as other teens. Teens are exposed to sex within the media that they do not always get proper information when it is coming from the media. They may get the Cliff Notes version of sex when what they really need is the standard paperback edition. During research of teens and the media, the university researchers found out that the media The media withholds information from the teens. Three key things that the media does not expose teens to are the following: commitment, contraceptives, and consequences. Those three things should affect teens when it comes to the media and sex, but they do not. Video games are a core aspect of what the media truly is. In today's world, games can have both a positive and negative effect on a teen and a child. Not all video games have negative effects on people. Some video games, for instance the Wii, encourages people to use their body within the game to enhance body and mental stimulation. Large amounts of research has been done on the social and mental ramifications of video games and exposure. Researchers have found positive effects within a video game that the user of the game can learn. An example of this would be to identify with the player in the game. If the player in the game must solve a puzzle, then the user must solve the same puzzle. Video games also create mental stimulus that can open up creative aspects within the brain. There are some key elements that are positive about playing video games. They are reinforcement, trial, and modeling. The media is a tool used for selling items, showcasing ideals, and influencing the minds of young people. The media is not always bad. It does get a bad rap sometimes. Good things do come from the media. Examples include the news, educational television programs, family video games, interactive reading, historical events, and things for enjoyment. Think of the media as a coin, one side being heads, the other being tails. A person's exposure just depends on the amount of time that the particular individual is willing to flip that coin in the air. It may be positive every time, and it may be negative every time.